has been live for us this whole day and is about to join me once again from the Lee Funeral Home. What more do you have for us, Mimo?
Thank you, Yusuf. At the moment, at Lee Funeral Home, is that there's friends, relatives, and some of the family members are still here just after following the news of the passing on of the late Nicholas Kipiator Biwott, who was a long-serving member of parliament for Keyo South from 1979 to 2007. The late passed on this morning. What I've gathered so far is that he collapsed at his home, and when he was rushed to Nairobi hospital on arrival, he was pronounced dead. The late Biwott, we know he just jetted into the country just on Sunday when I had gone out of he'd been to Australia to seek treatment, medical treatment, and he had just come back on Sunday. So a few days later, that's when at least he passed on. So from the funeral here, we've also heard at least the daughter, Esther Koimet, who is the investment secretary, has told us that the family is trying to see how they'll now plan for this particular tragedy that has happened and how they'll put up the funeral arrangements. But at the moment, the body of the late is being preserved at the Lee Funeral Home. We've also heard the former State House Comptroller Ibrahim Kiptanui, who also served for a very long period with the late Nicholas Biwott. He says this particular death is a devastating blow. The former State House Comptroller Ibrahim Kiptanui really knew the late Nicholas Biwott very well because Biwott was so close to the former President Daniel Moi. So he's a person who really served the country in many capacities, starting as a district officer way back in 1965 in Tharaka Nithi and Meru, the larger Meru County, where he did a sterling job for residents of Nkubu and those areas there. As he proceeded up to, we saw in 1979 when soon after the passing on of the former first President Jomo Kenyatta, he was co-opted into Moi government, and also he did a very good job, working very closely with the former president, serving in different ministries, that is including regional development, East African Cooperation, Ministry of Tourism, Energy, and we've seen also the current Cabinet Secretary for Energy, Charles Keter, say that at the moment the seat is his office at Nyao House on the 24th floor. The late used to call him and tell him that the seat you are on now, that was my former office, and take charge of that ministry, because also the late had an interest in the oil industry. He also is a businessman. He's been running farm machinery. He had Lima Machinery was associated with him. We had a Zakem construction company. So he was an investor, also a businessman, come investor. Is with a lot of interests also in the oil sector, and also the other agricultural industry. He also, apart from being a businessman, he also did really a lot of development in Keyo South in terms of electricity for the residents of Keyo South. The first connection, if we were to talk about the 1 mile connection, I think it's residents of Keyo South who are the first beneficiaries of such a sterling job when the minister was the minister for energy, and ensured that at least all most majority of the homes in Keyo South were supplied with electricity, especially that coming from the Takwel Gorge in West Pokot. So he's a person who is development conscious. In terms of education, there are so many students from less privileged families that passed through him, whom he sponsored academically. So it's something that he leaves at least a rich legacy for those who knew him, especially at the constituency level, and that maybe explains why he was given that uninterrupted stint as a member of parliament for all those years from 1979 to 2007. Apart from that, he also, when he served as a minister, we saw him turn around. He came up with different projects in those particular ministries. Like we're talking about when he was in tourism, he really brought about changes in tourism. When he was working at East African Community Regional Corporation, he also ensured that the East African community becomes a reality. That's why they are now reviving after the collapse of that unity, East African Community, in 1977. So he came and revived that as the minister of East Africa Community and Regional Corporation. So the late Nicholas Kipiator Biwott is a person who really has a rich history, both politically, working in the civil service, and also as a business person. We've seen also members of his National Vision Party. He was also supporting President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election. The National Vision Party was among the parties that are supporting the Jubilee candidate for the presidency. So we've also had at least opportunity with one of the members of one of the candidates from West Pokot who is contesting on an NVP ticket. He says it's a great loss to the party because he was the party leader. So it is something that we'll be seeing how it develops. But then presently is that what is happening is that just people are still here, relatives and friends. Those who heard the news, they're coming to terms with the passing on, and so they're just coming to check and get to really know what might have transpired. Yusuf?
Many thanks, Amima, for that comprehensive update. That was Patrick Amima coming to us once again live from the Lee Funeral Home. That is where the body of the late Nicholas Biwott has been moved to. This after he was pronounced dead at Nairobi Hospital. We're still here bringing to you back-to-back coverage of this unfortunate incident where a former strongman, a man who served in a total of about 8 cabinet portfolios. He served as a KO South Member of Parliament for a record 28 years. That is the late Nicholas Biwott. Earlier on, we had an opportunity